Look down at your legs right now while sitting in a chair. Is your thigh noticeably longer than your shin? Or do your knee joints sit neatly over your ankles, with your shin bone matching or exceeding the length of your thigh? Most people assume that vertical jump height and squatting power are strictly determined by muscle mass, leg strength, or training dedication. You were completely wrong. The ratio between the length of your femur, your thigh bone, and your tibia, your shin bone, is an unalterable skeletal lever system locked into your frame during puberty. Long before you ever attempted your first vertical jump or loaded a barbell onto your shoulders, your skeletal geometry established the mechanical torque operating across your knee and hip joints. Because your femur acts as a primary resistance lever arm during jumping and squatting, its relative length dictates the exact amount of joint force required to propel your body into the air. A long femur creates an enormous mechanical disadvantage, multiplying rotational force on your knees and forcing your torso to collapse forward. A short femur acts as a high-speed mechanical piston, transferring force straight into the floor with minimal energy loss. This isn't about motivation, training volume, or calf raises. This is structural physics in action. Your femur-to-tibia ratio is a biological blueprint revealing your vertical jump ceiling. Part 1. The biological engine. To understand why femur length governs jumping height, you must look at the rotational physics of skeletal levers. In biomechanics, joint torque is governed by a fundamental formula. Torque equals force times the moment arm, the perpendicular distance between a joint pivot and the line of gravitational resistance. When you sink into a squat position to launch a vertical jump, your knees and hips bend, shifting your center of mass backward. If you possess a long femur relative to your tibia, your thigh bone pushes your knee joint far forward and your hip joint far backward. This movement creates a massive horizontal moment arm around both the knee and hip joints. To prevent your body from collapsing backward under gravity, your quadriceps and patellar tendon must generate extreme internal tension to overcome this extended moment arm, producing heavy patellofemoral compressive force. Conversely, if you possess a short femur paired with a long tibia, your knee stays close to your center of mass. The moment arm remains extremely short, reducing knee joint torque to absolute minimums. Instead of fighting rotational shear force across extended levers, your nervous system directs muscular force straight into rapid elastic recoil. This single skeletal ratio determines how much kinetic energy is wasted stabilizing long joint levers versus how much energy is converted into vertical takeoff velocity. This fundamental mechanical difference divides human jumpers into 4 distinct biological lever profiles. Part 2. The long lever high torque anchors. We begin at the high resistance end of the skeletal spectrum, the long lever high torque anchors. In this profile, the femur to tibia ratio exceeds 1.1, meaning the thigh bone is significantly longer than the shin bone. Visually and mechanically, people in this tier possess long, sweeping thighs paired with relatively short lower legs. When a long lever high torque anchor attempts to sink into a deep squat or load a vertical jump, their skeletal geometry creates a severe mechanical trap. Because their thigh bone is so long, bending the knees pushes their hips far back behind their heels. To keep their center of mass balanced over the middle of their feet, their torso must collapse heavily forward, placing immense compressive load on the lumbar spine. At the knee joint, the extended moment arm demands tremendous quadriceps contraction just to hold the position. In a vertical jump dip, this extended lever arm causes a long, slow transition phase. Because the joint moment arm is so long, their muscles must work against high internal torque before they can initiate upward movement, draining elastic energy from their tendons. While they possess great mechanical leverage for pulling heavy deadlifts off the floor, their vertical jumping efficiency suffers a heavy physical tax. They don't struggle to jump high because of weak muscles or poor training. Their long femur simply acts as a heavy resistance lever fighting gravity. Part 3. The compensated lever adapters. Moving to the middle of the skeletal spectrum, we reach the compensated lever adapters. In this bracket, both the femur and tibia are long, but they exist in a balanced equal 1-to-1 proportion. Physically, individuals in this profile possess long, tall limbs, creating a high center of mass above the ground. From a biomechanical standpoint, this architecture operates on an extended conditional kinetic frame. Because their overall leg length is substantial, sinking straight down into a vertical jump dip still creates a moderate moment arm around the knee and hip joints. However, because their tibia matches their femur in length, their knees can travel forward smoothly over the toes, allowing them to maintain a far more upright torso than Tier 1. To maximize vertical jump explosive height, compensated lever adapters rely heavily on hip mobility and wide stance mechanics. By spreading their feet slightly wider, they artificially shorten the forward-reaching moment arm of the femur, reducing knee torque and allowing the glutes to contribute directly to vertical takeoff force. While their high center of mass requires careful balance control during takeoff, their long limbs generate impressive stride length in sprinting and high reaching capability near the basket or net. They do not suffer from the extreme joint shear of a disproportionate femur, nor do they enjoy the effortless piston-like recoil of short levers. What they possess is an extended, adaptable frame capable of producing high vertical reach through movement adjustments. Part 4. The resonant piston engines. Now, the skeletal leverage shifts into high-efficiency explosive power. In this profile, the femur-to-tibia ratio falls into the golden mean between 0.85 and 0.95, featuring a short, compact femur paired with a sturdy tibia. Visually and physically, individuals in this tier possess powerful, compact thighs and strong lower legs. Mechanically, this compact femur ratio acts like a high-speed hydraulic piston. When a resonant piston engine drops into a vertical jump dip, their short thigh bone keeps their hip joint close to their ankles. Because the horizontal moment arm around the knee remains short, joint torque is drastically reduced. Their torso stays naturally upright, eliminating forward collapse and placing their center of mass directly over their powerful gluteal and quadriceps engines. When loading the dip phase of a jump, their short moment arm allows a blindingly fast transition from eccentric absorption to concentric takeoff. Instead of losing kinetic energy fighting joint shear forces, their Achilles and patellar tendons stretch cleanly, storing elastic potential energy that snaps back instantaneously. Olympic weightlifters and high-level explosive athletes overwhelmingly possess this compact femur geometry. They sink into rock-bottom squat depth effortlessly and launch upward with massive vertical acceleration. Their skeletal frame does not waste energy stabilizing long levers. It transfers raw force directly into vertical takeoff velocity. Part 5. The hyper-explosive catapult outliers. Finally, we reach the extreme peak of human jumping biomechanics, the hyper-explosive catapult outliers. In this tier, the femur-to-tibia ratio drops below 0.8, featuring a microfemur paired with an exceptionally long tibia. Visually, individuals in this bracket possess ultra-long shins and short, compact thighs, giving their lower legs the distinct appearance of biological springs. Neurobiologically and structurally, this skeletal geometry is the ultimate mechanical cheat code for vertical jump height. Because the femur is exceptionally short relative to the shin, the knee joint moment arm is virtually eliminated during jumping and squatting movements. When a hyper-explosive catapult outlier dips to jump, their center of mass drops in a perfectly vertical line over their midfoot. Zero rotational shear force touches the knee joint, allowing 100% of quadriceps and gluteal force to translate straight into vertical propulsion. Furthermore, their long tibia acts as an extended elastic spring. The long Achilles and patellar tendons absorb impact forces instantly, converting gravity into massive elastic energy recoil. Consider world-class high jumpers, elite dunkers, and hyper-explosive sprinters. Their biological secret is not just muscle fiber composition, it is an ultra-short femur lever that eliminates joint torque and maximizes vertical takeoff speed. They do not fight gravity during takeoff. Their skeletal catapult launches them past it. 4 skeletal lever ratios, 4 hard-coded vertical jump profiles. The long lever high torque anchors fight extended joint torque through long thigh levers. The compensated lever adapters manage extended limb lengths through movement adjustments. The resonant piston engines convert compact levers into rapid force transfer, and the hyper-explosive catapult outliers launch upward through zero-torque skeletal springs. Your vertical jump height is not just a workout score, a calf training program, or a matter of willpower. It is a hard-coded mechanical trade-off written into the bone ratio of your legs. You didn't choose your femur length, but once you decode your skeletal levers, you stop fighting joint shear and start exploiting the geometry you were born with. To discover how the rest of your biological frame secretly dictates your performance, watch the next video on your screen.